tank. He's good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
All-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence was amazed by Terence Crawford's incredible preparation for the Canelo fight. Having fought him before, Errol knows Crawford's smart boxing and top-level skills. Seeing his latest training, Errol was blown away by the speed, accuracy, and flawless movement he showed. Terence moved with power, focus, and precision. This version of Crawford is a serious threat that Canelo can't take lightly.
Step right here and roll.
When Terence Crawford looked back on his fight with Errol Spence, the respect between the two champions was obvious. Crawford, famous for his calm and smart approach in the ring, highlighted how he carefully breaks down his opponents before unleashing powerful bursts of punches.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
And given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down. Just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right. Yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him, like, knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him, like, wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening, and those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former world champion and analyst Chris Algieri offered a sharp take on Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. He pointed out that Crawford has regularly controlled his fights and dominated opponents, while Canelo has had moments where he struggled and got outboxed, a situation insiders call getting bossed. A clear example was Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol, where Bivol's size, jab, and discipline set the pace. Algieri's observation highlights that Crawford, even moving up in weight, fights with control, adaptability, and technical skill, qualities that have troubled even top fighters like Canelo.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys. Number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare. Maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So when you talk about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman gave a clear and balanced analysis, saying both Crawford and Canelo have strong points, but Crawford has the edge when considering recent form and overall skill. Kellerman noted Crawford's timing, ability to switch stances, and knockout power have reached a high level lately. Canelo, still a top fighter, has shown slight signs of slowing, especially in movement and aggression. Kellerman did acknowledge Canelo's size advantage, which could help in close exchanges, but looking at the full range of skills, speed, accuracy, defense, and adaptability, he favored Crawford as the sharper and more complete fighter right now.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned Canelo's power. So who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
The setup for this mega fight is intriguing. Crawford is moving up in weight, which can test his speed and endurance, while Canelo, though seasoned, isn't as explosive as he used to be. Lately, Canelo has leaned more on control than going for big knockouts. This means Crawford's challenge in size is somewhat balanced by Canelo's slower pace. If Crawford shows his top form, with precise footwork, smart ring strategy, and strong stamina, he has a real chance to win.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising boxing star Abdullah Mason shared strong confidence in Crawford, predicting not just a win, but a surprising one for many fans. He pointed out that Crawford's power, often overlooked, could shock the world. While most focus on Canelo's size advantage, Mason highlighted that Crawford's timing, angles, and accuracy could make his punches even more dangerous. If Crawford lands clean shots consistently, especially in the later rounds, Mason believes his bold prediction could come true.
Lastly, Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Dimitri Bivol, who recently defeated Canelo, spoke highly of Terence Crawford. Having watched him closely, Bivol noted that Crawford has added strength and possesses the skills needed to win. Bivol's view carries extra weight, since he knows what it takes to beat Canelo and sees that Crawford has that ability. He highlighted Crawford's discipline, speed, and smart approach as major advantages. When a fighter of Bivall's experience backs someone, it shows this matchup could be much closer than it looks on paper.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jermell Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously you...
Keith Thurman shared a thoughtful perspective on this matchup. He noted that while it might look even to casual fans, a closer technical look shows key differences. Referring to Canelo's recent fight with Jermall Charlo, Thurman explained how Canelo struggled when Charlo used smart movement and footwork. Even as the aggressor, Canelo couldn't control the ring or land decisive shots once Charlo's ring IQ came into play. Thurman suggested that Crawford, who is even more strategic and calculated than Charlo, could pose similar, or even bigger, challenges for Canelo.
And, you know, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great, but by the end of the day, one will be above the other.
Your eyes?
It's not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot, okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight, he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being, you know, attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.
On his podcast, Joe Rogan, along with comedian and boxing fan Mike Vecchio, praised Terence Crawford highly. Rogan called Crawford a top-tier and dangerous athlete, highlighting his skill, mindset, and dedication. He noted that the fight with Canelo is both a huge challenge and a major opportunity for Crawford, financially and for his legacy. Rogan went further, saying Crawford is arguably one of the best boxers alive, and this fight could cement his place among the all-time greats. Crawford himself shared his mindset ahead of the fight. He openly acknowledged the size difference, noting that Canelo might try to wear him down with weight and pressure. Yet Crawford remained calm and confident, saying he's ready for anything. This shows not just physical preparation, but mental strength. He's respecting Canelo while trusting his own ability to adjust. It's this mix of confidence and awareness that makes Crawford such a smart and dangerous fighter.
Doing good, you know, Work has been going great, and fight time we're gonna be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't, think it was, a fight that he wanted. So I didn't really know. But, thanks to Turkey, Al-Sheikh, he made it possible. And, we got one of the biggest fights in the last decade, happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
When you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make, a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, we expect everything in there.
I was looking it up, and I think the last time Bud Crawford was an underdog for a fight was the Prescott fight back in 2013. Any difference? Do you even pay attention to odds, or that doesn't matter to you when you step in there into the ring that night?
No, it definitely don't matter. The odds can't fight for him. So, it is what it is.
Actor and martial artist Michael Jai White also backed Crawford as his choice to win. His reasoning was straightforward. Crawford has faced tough challenges before. Even moving up in weight, Terence has shown he can handle bigger opponents by using smart strategy to neutralize their strengths. For Jai, this fight is familiar territory for Crawford, just a new opponent on a bigger stage. He expressed confidence that Crawford would stay calm and perform as he always does, calculated, sharp, and deadly precise.
No. So you would put your money on Crawford?
Yes.
You'd make money.
Okay.
Just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Crawford's going to beat him?
Because Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo has he's, oh my God, like he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather Canelo Part 2. That's what I think.
Canelo is naturally heavier.
Yeah, Crawford ain't gonna knock him out.
Huh.
But I don't know if Canelo's gonna land very solidly on Crawford.
Calvin Ford, trainer of Gervonta Davis, praised Terence Crawford for taking on such a huge challenge. Ford highlighted that it takes a special kind of fighter, both mentally and spiritually, to face a fight with tough odds, added weight, and intense pressure. He said that's what sets Crawford apart, his courage to pursue greatness even when the risks are high. Facing giants, in every sense, shows Crawford's commitment to building a lasting legacy.
The best example for him.
Last question for you. Crawford, Canelo, who wins?
Man, both of them guys are great. I respect Canelo. I respect Crawford to jump in and take a big fight like that, and that's what makes great fights, to see the big fights and wondering which side gonna win. But like I said, they say Canelo is the GOAT. I remember when Canelo fought Floyd. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like we getting another chance at seeing Crawford fight Canelo.
Veteran trainer Robert Garcia gave a straightforward look at Canelo's current style. He noted that unlike earlier in his career, Canelo no longer hunts knockouts. Now, he fights more strategically, focusing on winning rounds, saving energy, and reducing damage. Garcia explained this is partly due to age and long-term career management. While Canelo remains effective, this shift means he may not bring the same intensity Crawford might expect. If Crawford takes advantage of the slower pace, the fight could tilt in his favor.
Look, it's just Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now. We've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same against Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there. and not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.